be full education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now, post a new video. So I'm going to keep it briefer tonight because I have got some pain, and so I want to be brief, but I want to celebrate Aromantic Awareness Week. Now, aromanticism in and of itself is not unique to asexuals. Aromanticism or aromantics who belong on the aromantic spectrum, basically aromantic, A with romantic put together, is someone who does not experience any romantic attraction. But this person could be asexual or could be a sexual person. As this is an asexual channel, I usually talk about aromantic asexuals. So what's the difference? An aromantic sexual person, otherwise known as an allosexual, someone who isn't asexual, is someone who experiences romantic attraction and sexual attraction. An aromantic asexual person is someone who doesn't experience romantic attraction and they don't experience sexual attraction if they're asexual. Right, so aromantics lack romantic attraction. A stands for absence of romantic attraction. I pronounce it aromantic. Many people pronounce it aromantic. But I prefer to pronounce it aromantic, possibly because I'm a romantic asexual and I find it easier to define the difference by saying aromantic. Plus, it just kind of rolls off my tongue a lot more easily, and I like to be a little bit different. So there you go. But anyway, you can get different types of aromantic asexuals and aromantics in general, right? You can get some aromantics asexuals who are absolutely romance repulsed. They can't stand it. It makes them want to throw up, and they just get really they just detest talking about romance, hearing about romance, people going on about romance. They just get absolutely fed up with it, and they just really turns them off of the conversation, makes them really uncomfortable, and makes them feel sicky. Then you get the people who are aromantic and they're not bothered about romance one way or the other, but personally they're not into it. They're not interested in it, but they don't really get bothered if other people are. And then you have the aromantic romance positive asexuals. Lots of love to you. Thanks for the thumbs up. Now, the romance positive asexuals could take romance positive aromantic, because we're talking about aromantics here because it's Aromantic Awareness Week when I'm recording this live. The romance positive aromantic asexuals, as opposed to the romance repulsed or the romance indifferent, the aromantic positive about romance, aromantic asexuals, basically the aromantics that are romance positive, they could take the form of just being happy to be in a relationship with someone who's not aromantic, for example, and they could be a cupiaromantic. Now, a cupiaromantic is not something a lot of other asexual channels tend to focus on, and it's not well talked about that much. There's a lot of stigma around it still, but I have done videos on this channel about it. And a cupiaromantic asexual or a cupiaromantic aromantic person, whether they're asexual or not, is someone who falls on the aromantic spectrum, but they still desire a romantic relationship. So they would be romance positive. So you could get a aromantic asexual, someone who's doesn't experience any romantic attraction, doesn't experience any sexual attraction, but they could be just romance positive, so not mind other people talking about romance. Maybe they like reading romantic novels and romantic fiction and stuff like that, even though they don't desire to be in a romantic relationship. Or they could be a cupiaromantic. Obviously not every aromantic person who's romance positive is a cupiaromantic, but there are some aromantics who desire a romantic relationship but without experiencing romantic attraction at all. But they really strongly desire it. It's kind of like a need of theirs. They want to experience a romantic relationship even though they don't experience romantic attraction. And this can be very, very difficult because, you know, they can think, well, it's really hard to form a romantic bond with someone you don't experience any romantic attraction. And you know, there's a very big need within a romantic asexual usually to actually have a romantic relationship. However, I have since seen on some asexual dating sites and in ASAP, I think it was, there's some people that actually are romantic asexual, but they're actually not that bothered about getting into a relationship, even though they really like the idea of a romantic relationship. But in the past, I'd found romantics that happened to really want a romantic relationship really badly, but it was hard for them because they didn't understand romance. They weren't naturally romantic. And so it was really difficult and kind of like opposing their own self, if you know what I mean. So you have to understand that aromantics could be, you know, although they don't experience romantic attraction, they've got that in common. They could be romance repulsed, romance neutral, or indifferent, or romance positive. You have to understand as well that the aromantic spectrum is a spectrum. So you've got people who are pure aromantics who don't experience any romantic attraction. You've got the grey romantics who experience little romantic attraction only in limited, rare, or specific circumstances, but experience it, but not enough to want to act on it. Then you've got the demi-romantics who do not experience any romantic attraction unless a deep emotional bond has been formed. Then they can feel it just as much as a normal romantic asexual can, or romantic person can. And then you've got the romantics, who, you know, do experience a need and want for a romantic relationship, but they don't actually experience romantic attraction. There's also things like a romantic person, which is someone who does experience romantic attraction, but then once they get into a relationship with that person, the romantic attraction wears off. So they are the opposite of a demi-romantic, because a demi-romantic needs a deep emotional connection and bond to feel romance. Otherwise they don't. They're just totally aromantic and they lack romantic attraction else. Whereas a romantic, they do have romantic attraction, but once they form that bond, they lose a romantic attraction. So they're opposites of each other. So, you know, you have to basically take the aromantic person on their own merits and their own individuality. And if you're thinking about dating an aromantic, you have to tell you that a lot of aromantic asexuals are not going to be interested in dating, but there's still some that are. It's a myth that no aromantics ever want a relationship or want to date, because I know aromantic asexuals that are in relationships, and you know, there's some people that do still want to be in a relationship even though they don't experience romantic attraction, because you don't have to have romantic attraction in order to have a relationship, just like you don't have to have sex in order to have a relationship. You know, it's just crazy that society often dictates these things, but we mustn't let it. It's up to us to create our own rules of our life, and with the people that matter in it. You know, it's not up to society to dictate what type of relationship you have with others. It's up to you to discover what works for you and the other personal people involved, and just enjoy yourself. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to pop a comment below enough to know what you think. Happy Aromantic Awareness Week. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video live stream. Subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I go live, like now I post a new video. Thanks for popping by. Thanks for the thumbs up. Please give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. And I love you and leave you for now. See you soon. Stay ace. Bye. Stay arrow ace, I should say. Arrow ace, short for aromantic.